As long as we keep saying that politics is dirty, it will continue to be dirty until we get in as a light and bring light out of the dirty.
There was one country which for the last 10 years has been #1 in the world in terms of tax competitiveness. #1 for the last 10 years in a row. So that country is Estonia. So I took a team and we went to Estonia. We went to meet the president, the prime minister, finance ministry, the tax, and all of that. We had all sorts of meetings with them. Their tax system is simple. It's called a flat tax system. It's a flat tax. So if it's 10%, it's 10%. If it's 20%, it's 20%. Everybody knows. You know, so it's almost like what happens in church. Your tithe, right? The tithe is a flat tax in a way, isn't it? So the church has figured this a long time ago. And we didn't know. A long time ago. And we didn't know. So I want Ghana to move to a flat tax system next year. So that it is easy for any business. It's not any long talk between you and GRA. Because today they can come and give you a bill, you don't know how it came about. You cannot tell. They'll lock up your shop. Isn't it? They'll lock up your shop. So I want us to all start on a clean slate next year by the grace of God. Introduce a flat tax system, which means that I'm going to provide an amnesty for tax for all businesses and individuals from next year. We will all start from zero. We will forgive your tax obligations next year. We all start with an amnesty. Interestingly, when I went to visit the Pope, after the visit, Cardinal Peter Texin was taking me around the Basilica and showing me different parts. And we reached some part and they were doing some work. Some people were working and I asked Cardinal Texin, I said, what is going on here? He said, oh, we are preparing for next year. He says next year is Jubilee year. So, oh, so it's 2025. I said, oh, okay, what happened? So, oh, Jubilee year is the year of forgiveness. We'll forgive. I said, oh, is that right? I said, oh, next year I'm also forgiving taxes in Ghana. That is also the Jubilee for me. And so that is very, very important. That we have a flat tax system. We have a tax amnesty to all start on the same clean slate. And it will be easier for GRA to collect. Easier to collect. Everybody has a tax identification number. It is very easy. Because so many people are outside the tax net. They don't pay taxes. And so we are going to do that. The next tax reform I'm going to do is to reform the import duty regime. That is also another area that has a lot of problems. The problems come from the first issue is that the regime, the import duty is not predictable. You can import something today and you think you are paying 10,000 cedis. And the thing arrives and the bill you get is 20,000 cedis. There's no predictability. They will say, oh, the exchange rate has moved. And this has happened. And or the values have changed. And so when they give you that 20,000 instead of the 10,000, if you are a business person, when you get to the market, you also put it on the price. Isn't it? You put it on the price. And then now you are thinking, when I finish selling and I go back, maybe when I come back again, it will be different. Then you add a little bit more extra. And so there is an inflationary bias being introduced into the market through the import duty regime. So I want the reform that I'm bringing is to say that I want a system of flat taxes in cities. If we are to respect our city, we have to start it at the port. We have to start it at the port. So we want flat taxes in cities. So if you are an Abosoakan and you are bringing in spare parts, we say 40-foot container of spare parts, this is the duty. 20,000 is simple. There's no kululu. You know immediately what the government is to get. If it is 20-foot container, it's 10,000. If it's rice, this is the flat rate for 40 foot. This is the flat rate for 20 foot. If it is chicken, this is it, and this is it. Flat taxes make it easy. Very, very easy to collect. And it's in cities. So you know your duty. The second reform I bring in, by the grace of God, is to look at realigning our import duty in Tema with the import duty in Lomé. Because there's so much smuggling taking place through Lomé. Because our duties are higher than them. So the people would rather go and clear the goods in Lomé and smuggle them into Ghana. Then we lose the revenue. So I'm bringing in a very simple policy. The import duty in Ghana cannot be higher than the import duty in Lomé. It cannot be higher. It can be the same or lower, but it will not be higher. Immediately we implement that policy, the smuggling will stop. The smuggling will stop. And that is where we are going to go. It is possible. The next area of reform I want to do is to bring a much closer partnership between the church and the government in Ghana here. A much closer partnership between the church and faith-based organizations and the government. Right now, I believe that we are not making enough use of the church. The church is our foremost development partner. Foremost development partner. Our development partners are not the external ones. But we always make the mistake to think that if you talk of development partners, it's the foreign people like you. You talk of Oxfam or USAID, or they are okay, but they are not our foremost partners. The foremost partners, in my view, are the church and the faith-based organizations. Look at the number of schools the church builds. Look at the number of hospitals. Look at the number of universities. If you took all of these schools, hospitals out of our Ghanaian country, took them all out, we will collapse. That is the nature of, that is the reality. So when you are looking at your development partners and you say that, oh, these are foreign development partners, so when they come to build something, you give them tax exemptions. But when the church goes to build the same thing, they have to pay import duty. I say this is wrong. We have to change it. We'll give the church the same tax exemptions as we are giving to the external development partners. We have to encourage the church to do more. Because this is what you do. Whether the country is doing well or not, the church is always there for us. Our external development partners, sometimes when they get angry, they can leave us. They will say, we won't give you money. Isn't it? Yeah, because we are not doing what they want in one way or the other. So I want a closer partnership, especially in the area of our management of our schools. I think that we need to have a conversation in the school, in the management of the schools, because indiscipline is creeping in too much. The value system that we were growing up with is we are losing it, bringing in so much indiscipline. But we know when they say a Presbyterian upbringing, you know what it means, isn't it? Yes, Damboche will tell you. I mean, the discipline, I think, that faith-based organizations bring is very different. And so government has to leverage on that. And we have to get closer to see how the church can help us, especially in the schools area, so that we can do it. And let me also make the point, that under no circumstance will we tax the churches. We cannot tax the churches. No taxation because of the work that you do. we will not tax churches. It's a no-no area for us. Then the issue of LGBTQ+. I don't know what they add. They can add anything. We will not accept it. We will never accept it. We will never accept it. Our religion says no. Our culture says no. Our values say no. So it's no, no, and no. We will never accept it. We will never, no matter the consequences, we will defend our values. We will defend our culture. So, and we will defend our religion. So it is so clear for me that we should let the rest of the world know that we will not change our values for them. No. They also don't agree with certain things. Isn't it? They don't agree with polygamy. Isn't it? Are we forcing it on them? Yeah. So they shouldn't force it on us. We won't agree. We will not agree. We will not agree. You know, I believe also that our persons with disabilities need help. I care a lot about persons with disabilities, and I want to provide free tertiary education for persons with disabilities in this country. Because they are some of the sharpest minds that you have, but physically they are not able. But it's not inability. And sometimes because of the physical disability, they get disadvantaged in so many areas and are unable to afford, tertiary education. We will give them tertiary education, and we will give some quotas for the employment of persons with disabilities in the public service so that they are able to do so. One of the areas that I really want to move digitalization to in my presidency, if God makes it possible, is digitalization of our land. Land. In many countries in the advanced world, if you want to know who owns the land, you can find it on your mobile phone. You don't even have to visit the land registry. And so we are going to move to mapping and digitalizing our land. So many land disputes come up because nobody really knows who owns the land. Many different people claim ownership. And one of the problems that we have is that many of the school lands are not registered. Why? I found out that many of the chiefs find it difficult to pay the registration fee because it's a bit expensive. If you own a lot of land, to go and register it, it's expensive. So what am I going to do? We are going to provide free registration for all the chiefs. Because it's very important that it's registered. Once it's registered, when you sell the land to somebody, we'll take away our fee. For the registration, we will allow you to register. But when you sell, we'll take away our fee. Isn't that fair? That's fair. So that is what we are going to do. So that in Ghana you can find, once we do the whole digitalization, any piece of land you can find who owns it. So that nobody can come and sell it twice or thrice to different people. That is where we are going. Digitalization of the land. We are going to really make sure also that our youth, in terms of the digital area, our youth are trained. The digital area in terms of digital skills is one of those areas where you can train people very quickly. And they don't even need a university degree. Our kids are so good with the digital stuff, it's unbelievable. They don't, even the dropouts, we want to bring them in, the school dropouts, and train them. We'll teach them coding, we'll teach them software development, software engineering. These are all practical things. And I want us to train 1 million youth in digital skills. When they are trained, they can be working in Australia right from Ghana. working in Germany, right from Ghana, the United States. The job opportunities are huge for them. So I want us to set this target, and it's easy to do. We'll train 1 million youth in digital skills for all of that. I also want us to focus on sports, on tourism, on the creative arts as new growth poles so that we can do so much that is happening. One of the things that I want to talk about in conclusion is to say that if you look at Ghana and the countries abroad, you know, and ask, why is it that a worker in the United States, if you pay that worker $1,000 a month, they can spend up to $10,000 a month because they have a credit system. For us, if you pay 1,000 cedis, it will not even reach to the end of the month. And it's over. Isn't it? 1 week. 1 week. So we have a disconnect. There's a credit system that holds the advanced countries. That doesn't exist here. And so this is what we have been working on. The reason why they have a credit system is that every individual has a credit score. Every individual. So the credit providers can tell whether you are a risky borrower or you are a good borrower. Over there they can tell. Over here they cannot tell. So we are all classified as bad borrowers, risky borrowers. So interest rates will be higher and getting credit is more difficult. And so this is where we have been working to try to make sure that this credit system also comes to Ghana. And then we will have individual credit scoring. I'm happy to say that we are going to launch it this year, not next year. The work has been completed. We have the databases put in place. The Bank of Ghana has licensed the credit scoring agency, and we are going to do something special. So before long, and when I say before long, I'm looking really within the next 2 or 3 months. Before long, we will launch this new credit scoring system in Ghana. And each of us, as long as you have a Ghana card, because everything is linked to your Ghana card, you will have a credit score for yourself. And then now we will be the second country after South Africa in the whole of sub-Saharan Africa to have a credit scoring system for individuals. It is possible. It is possible. So this is where we want to go. There's a lot that I wanted to talk about, but for the sake of time, security and all of that, I will stop here and thank you so much for your attention. I believe that with your support and with your prayers, we can change this country. We can change this country. I don't think our country should really be thinking that we are behind. We can go ahead. We can go ahead of us. Really change this country. We can transform this country. And I need your prayers. I need your support. I need your prayers so that we can go. Because with God, it is possible. Everything is possible with God. And I'm counting on you. God bless you. God bless you. And thank you for your attention.
You can do that better. You can do it better. A round of applause. This is a well-thought-through policy. Well-thought-through policy. It is great. It is not a policy where people are finding it difficult to explain. This is a well-thought-through policy.
Our vice has come into a limelight such like this in 2024. Now, let me take you to the team and also your essays. Bible, Ezekiel chapter 1, verses 10, talk about the 4 phases. 4 phases. Listen there. Now, let's bring our vice into it. The 4 phases. The first phase, the Bible says, is the face of a man. What does it represent prophetically? It represents the humanity nature of God. We all know how humble this great man is. That is the human face for him. The second face is the face of a lion. The third face is the face of an ox. In 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 15, the Bible said, Elijah found Elisha with 12 yoke of ox plowing. It means whenever you are an ox, you are a servant. You give service to humanity. One, Your Excellency, ox is not a leader, because every ox there must be a leader. So you are behind. Now you have passed through your human nature, that is a man. You have also, you are about to complete the ox, that is somebody was leading you. Now you left with the lion, who is the leader. Am I breaking it down? Yeah. Now you left him with the lion and the eagle. The eagle side of this is the discernment. That is what you are doing, bringing yourself to the men of God. Now, if by the grace of God you become the lion, that is where you are able to complete all the four faces. The face of a man, your humility; the face of an ox as a vice; the face of an eagle, your discernment; your tolerance in religion; and then you are moving to the face of a king, the lion. Now, am I talking to the real people? Now, based on what this great man of God said about the cathedral, and then the vice also talk about it, can I go deeper? Now, watch this, Your Excellency. Maybe prophetically, the reason why that hole is still there is because God wants you to fulfill. When you go to the Bible, now watch this. Herod was not a Jew, but when he became the king over the Jews, what he did for them to accept him was to build them a temple. Now watch me. So if you go to Israel today, they have Solomon temple and then the Herod temple. So it's going to be so prophetic that once upon a time, a temple was built, and the president who dedicated a temple for the Christians was a Muslim. Prophetically, together with the fundamental, it is enough. So you have to do everything within your power, and together with the team, bring the church to the government, and if possible, fund, as you said. I believe in the private sector. Give it to a private man, let them build it, let them correct them. Who can say what is it? You're going to say it's a baby of your face. Am I talking to the real people? Now, it is going to be an indictment for the Christianity and for this government to leave this bigger hole as it is forever. Preach on. But I pray that hole will become a better one day. Because God, who changes time and season, He is not a respecter of any man. He is not prophetic. Oh yeah, I prophesied Nigeria. I said you will be 10, never be first, and came to pass. I prophesied Liberia and came to pass. I prophesied South Africa, said hey, this and that, and it will come to pass. We are going to pray. I'm not going to prophesy, but we are going to pray. But I believe, man of God, that it's about time. You see, as long as we, the men of God, are continuing to say, you see, you are what you say, you are what you hear, and you are what you eat. I'm so happy now that they may have found somebody who is bringing the church into the governance. As long as we keep saying that politics is dirty, it will continue to be dirty until we get in as a light and bring light out of the dirty. Tell me. I'm not talking to that. May the God change this time and season. May the future of this nation be transformed.